Hi, my name is Amanda. I am the registered dietitian here at the Steinbach Family Resource Center. And I am so happy to be putting together a little video for the TikTok toddler group. I do miss seeing everybody in person, but I'm also very thankful that we've been able to stay connected using things like Zoom and videos and YouTube. So today I have put together a little chat on poop. And I know it is not everybody's favorite topic. Not everybody is comfortable or likes to talk about poop. But speaking mom to mom, I have a 5-year-old son at home, a 1-year-old daughter at home, and I'm expecting my third baby in June. So I know all about the craziness that comes with motherhood and all of the concerns. And one of those concerns can be our child's bowel habits. So I do want to address that today and help you guys out and provide some tips and tricks on how to handle specifically constipation is what we're going to focus on, as well as just general healthy bowels for everybody. We can, as adults, also follow these guidelines moving forward. Okay. So, like I said before, a lot of parents often express concerns, and we can be concerned about the frequency, like, okay, what's normal? How often should they go? Consistency, what should it look like? Um, Color, smells, all the kind of things that we can be concerned with. And it makes sense. I understand that because what's coming out of our children can reflect their health, and it can also reflect what they've been eating. And so we want to monitor that as parents and help them if there is something serious going on. So in regards to constipation specifically, I want to focus on it because if our child is constipated, they can also be really cranky, they can be in pain, they can be stinky, and they can have low appetite and a low food intake. Even as adults, if we're really bloated and we're full of poop, we don't want to eat, and our intake decreases, which means our nutrient intake decreases. And so we want to address and clean out those bowels so that we can continue to eat, give our body the energy it needs. So I want to do two things today. I want to discuss, what is constipation exactly, and then how can we prevent it? And then I want to give you those healthy tips to encourage healthy bowels for everybody. And with that, I'm going to talk about some of my favorite recipes for constipation and just for, yummy, healthy snack ideas. And yeah, we're going to go from there. Okay, so to start, I do want to discuss what is considered a normal bowel movement. Some people might have different ideas of, okay, this is normal and this is constipation. So, what is normal? Um, Regular bowel movements for every child can vary. So, one child's normal might not be another child's normal. So, even with siblings. So, as a parent, we kind of got to figure out, okay, you go every day, you go every 3 days, and that's okay. That's their own normals. And so we want each person to have a routine. Plus, we want it to be soft and easy to pass. That is what kind of defines our normal bowel movement. We know typically it can be that one color. However, other colors can happen, and that's okay. It usually just reflects what we've been eating. And just remember, like I said, it's about um, the consistency of it versus the frequency. Okay, so now that goes into, well, then what is constipation? How would I know if my child is actually constipated if we're not basing it on how often they might have a bowel movement? And so the Canadian Pediatric Association defines it as bowel movements that occur less often than usual. So we have to first know, what is our child's usual? What's their normal routine? So that's okay. Something weird's happening. It's not their normal. Plus, it's hard, it's dry, painful, difficult to pass. That combination then we would now consider constipation. Okay, so again, it's more important about that consistency. Is it dry? Is it hard? Are they straining? Are they in pain? So there are two types of constipation. We have short-term or chronic constipation. A lot of people, children, adults, will experience short-term constipation. And we would say, okay, your child is constipated, like I said before, they're in pain, they're straining, and they're dry and hard. We would say that's short term. And short term usually lasts only around 2 weeks. So anything longer, we'd be looking at something else. Short-term constipation can be treated with diet, fluids, those exercises, home remedies, and we're going to talk about that. Why it's so important to monitor any changes in our child's bowel habits is because we don't want short-term constipation to become chronic constipation or to become a big problem, which we're going to kind of get into. So then chronic constipation, it's your child has not had a regular bowel movement for 8 weeks. And like I said, about a third of children with short-term constipation will develop chronic constipation. So that's why it's important to just be always monitoring, knowing what's going on, and seeing if we need to, intervene and address the situation. Chronic constipation cannot be treated with diet and fluids. It needs medical attention. In general, if you find, we just haven't had any good consistency in my child's bowel movements, they're constipated, they're not. Talk to your doctor, see if there's any underlying health condition or concern, especially if we're seeing consistent constipation with bleeding, fever, a lot of bloating, weight loss, not gaining weight, like not thriving. We want to talk to a health professional. Okay. So what causes constipation? Where would this come from? And there are many reasons. And so I really encourage you, if you find you have a child who is experiencing constipation consistently, to try to think if there's a root problem that needs to be addressed. Sometimes it's simply changing up their intake, changing up their diet. Other times it's more behavioral, lifestyle stuff going on that's affecting our gut. Okay. So like I said, kind of the first thing we look at is there's not enough fiber in their diet. There's not enough water in their diet. And so we would then address that. Not enough physical activity. Maybe they're on their devices a lot. We've all been kind of locked up and we're bored and we're not moving our bodies as much as we might. Changes in toilet routine. So that can simply be we're going on vacation, which no one's really doing right now. But when we do, all of a sudden nobody's been pooping because we're just out of our normal routine. Starting daycare, starting school, any point in time can cause constipation. Toilet training. So we're potty training, very common for children, for toddlers to then become constipated. They now have to poop on a potty and they don't want to, and so they will hold it in. Not enough time to go to the washroom. So looking at our schedule, looking at our lives, or we go, 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 and then our kids are uncomfortable going at school. And okay, we need to have some set toilet time happening. Medications and supplements, there can be side effects. So just consider that if your child is on medication. Stressful situations can cause constipation, illness. But the most common cause of constipation that we have seen clinically is holding in stool because of pain during a bowel movement. And so then this holding in the stool can lead to chronic constipation. So imagine your child had a bowel movement and it was very painful for some reason. And so your child doesn't want to experience that pain again. And so they hold it in. And unfortunately, the vicious cycle is they hold it in and the stool gets, there's more of it, we keep eating. So then more is made, it gets larger, it gets more painful. And then your gut, your intestines will become impacted with poop. And unfortunately, that needs to be cleared out by a doctor. And medical intervention would need to happen. Now, one way you could know if your child has an impacted bowel is if all of a sudden you're doing your laundry and you see that there is runny stool soiling the underwear. And this would be in like a perfectly potty trained individual. So out of their normal. And so what happens is when you have an impacted bowel, the runny new poop would go right around it and just leak out. And so that can be a sign of the child has an impacted bowel. So that needs to be cleaned out, dealt with before you now go into any other preventative methods that we're going to talk about. Okay, so now I'm going to go into that, diet, food, kind of lifestyle tips and tricks to treat short-term constipation or just to have to kind of encourage healthy bowels for all. Okay. So the number one thing, or I guess to start, would be high fiber foods. Like I kind of mentioned before. So what does that mean? So fiber is a type of carbohydrate that is undigested, meaning we eat it, it goes straight through us, right to our guts, and that's where it does its magic. Um, there are different types of fiber, and some fiber can bulk up our stool, some fiber can soften our stool, some fiber attracts water, some fiber increases that transit time of going through us, so speeds it up. It's all really good and great. So fiber foods are found mainly in your plant foods, and I'll give you some specific ideas. But a way to ensure that you're getting enough fiber, that your children are getting enough fiber, would be to offer a high fiber food at each meal and snack. And then you're pretty much good to go. You're going to get enough fiber. You don't have to count grams of fiber per day. Just offer a high fiber food at each meal. So when I say high fiber food, I'm talking about things like fruits and veggies with skins on. Um, all fruits and vegetables, the variety. However, it has been said that if we're specifically treating constipation, we're thinking about poop, think about fruits that start with the letter P. So prunes, pears, peaches, plums. The pea fruits can specifically help deal with constipation. Now, if your child doesn't like the pea fruits, you can make smoothies with the pea fruits in it. And I have one here I wanted to show you. So this is a smoothie by Feeding Littles. It is called Sweet Berry Constipation Smoothie, and I will make sure you guys get a copy of this. And it's specifically kind of promoting, help your little one get moving with this combination of high fiber foods. And so this smoothie has apple juice, prunes, dates, whole fat kefir. Kefir is a type of fermented milk product that has a ton of really good, healthy bacteria, more than you would typically find in yogurt. Chia seeds are very high in insoluble fiber, so it's going to soften their stool. Blueberries, strawberries, coconut oil, all the good stuff to treat constipation. So you can find recipes like that where it's specific constipation smoothie, or you can just say, hey, in my kind of meal rotation, maybe my breakfast rotation, I'm going to start having smoothies every couple of days. My family's going to start having smoothies. And that's just a great way to get more fruit in your diet. And like I said before, fruit in general has fiber. You can also do things like add frozen blueberries to yogurts, oatmeal, cereal, just adding to things. Another type of food that would be high in fiber are your whole grain breads. And so when you're looking at your bread, you want to see the word whole grain. And when you're looking at the ingredient list or the nutrition label, you want to look under fiber and you want to see a minimum of 2 or 3 grams of fiber per one slice. That would say, okay, there's adequate fiber in this bread. Other whole grains include whole wheat pasta. So again, does it say whole wheat on the ingredient list? Bran is considered a whole grain. I have these bran muffins. I'm going to send you the recipe, also known to treat constipation. So it has wheat bran, whole wheat flour, oats, wheat germ, all things rich in fiber. So something we can just have as a healthy snack for everybody, something we can have to treat constipation. Oatmeal, whole wheat crackers, stuff like that. Beans and legumes. So they are an excellent, maybe even the best source of fiber that we could have. And I know, we can kind of be more picky or opinionated about beans, but they can be added to a lot of things. So for example, lentils, which is a type of legume, can be added to cookies. And I'll send you guys this recipe. So this recipe was featured in this Nutrition Month's kind of cookbook, and I have made them, and I have been eating them, and they are delicious, and they are made with a cup of brown lentils. And so all I do is I buy, I know it's backwards, a can of lentils. I drain them, I rinse them, I have them. And so you can see here it says 4 grams of fiber per half a cup. And so you're putting a whole cup of lentils in these cookies alone. Never mind, we're having smoothies, we're having fruits and vegetables and whole grain bread. It's not super tricky to have high fiber foods if you become aware that it's found in a lot of whole foods that we want to be eating anyways. You can also just add it to, a simple casserole, your soup, salad. I love a chickpea salad, quesadillas. You can make hummus. That's made with chickpeas as well, etc. And again, I love to share recipes. I love to share some of my favorites. You can always reach out to me if you want other recipes besides the ones that I will be sharing along with this presentation. Another thing you can do to treat constipation is start to add ground flax to a bunch of things. So ground flax is very high in insoluble fiber. It will bulk up that stool and help make it pass faster. So you just want to sprinkle around a teaspoon or 2 onto a bunch of things. So it can be applesauce, add your flax, yogurt, mix it into your cereals, mix it into your smoothies, mix it into your oatmeal, put it in muffins. You just add it to your typical foods. And I like to consider flax as a nutrient booster. So full of great things, and we can just boost our typical foods with it. Okay. So now remember, if we're increasing fiber, don't do it super quickly, especially if you are a family that doesn't typically eat some of these foods, and that's okay. Slow and steady. We don't want to cause unnecessary bloating or gas. And also make sure if you're going to increase your fiber, you're going to need to increase your fluids. Otherwise, you might make the situation actually worse. And so that leads into kind of my next tip is water. Sometimes good old-fashioned water can really help alleviate constipation. We always want to encourage a big open cup of water too. Natural laxatives can help prevent and treat constipation. So when I say natural laxatives, I'm talking about our juices. So we typically hear, okay, have some prune juice, apple juice, or pear juice. And why we recommend them as a natural laxative is because they have something called sorbitol. And sorbitol is a sugar alcohol naturally occurring that has this effect where it attracts water into the bowel. And so that then would make the stool softer and easier to pass. So that would be considered a natural laxative. We just don't want to be offering a whole bunch of juice. So max, a quarter cup, a half a cup of juice a day, along with all those other whole foods we talked about. Besides juice, prunes themselves are also considered a natural laxative. And so we can do prune juice. We could do, there's prune pouches I've seen, prune smoothies like I mentioned before, and you can also make, I've seen this recipe kicking around, prune. So I will also include that recipe to try out as a general healthy snack or something to treat the constipation. Some people like to consider using probiotics for their healthy gut. They are not harmful. They might not be completely necessary. They can be expensive. We have seen the type of bacteria, Lactobacillus casei, can help improve stool frequency. But remember, these probiotics are also found in our fermented products like that kefir, yogurt, cheeses, milk, and that can just be included in our balanced way of eating without buying the expensive probiotics. Some parents consider, oh, is it dairy? Should I take my child off of dairy to treat this consistent constipation problem that we keep having? And now a dairy intolerance might be causing constipation. However, remember, there's not one type of food to blame. There's usually kind of a few things going on, whether it's structural or behavioral, environmental, etc. But you can trial it. Just ensure that before you do so, talk to myself, dietitian, doctor, because we want to make sure if we're removing dairy, your child will be getting all the nutrients that they typically would be getting from dairy, from other foods. We don't want there to be just a complete lack of, calcium, and stuff like that. Other laxatives that aren't natural, just remember to talk to your doctor before giving any laxatives. I've heard of barley malt extract, lactulose, like I said, sorbitol can act as stool softeners. Another one called the brand name Resorilax, the doctor can prescribe to treat constipation. Other ways to encourage healthy bowels. So, kind of like I mentioned before, set up a good toilet time routine. We don't like to talk about it, but we got to talk about poop with our family. Talk about it with your kids every day. Did you go today? How was it? Especially if they're going independently. Remind them, slow them down if they're a super busy kid. Also, give your child lots of time when they're going to the washroom. Kind of think, okay, my kid typically needs to go in the mornings. Mornings are crazy. How can I adjust it so that my child is not holding it in, knowing that they have to rush out the door? For toddlers, I know our kids are home with us, and it's a bit different. But again, just encouraging them to slow down, read a book. I would give my son like 5 books. He sits on the can, and he just takes his time. And again, also being physically active can help a lot. So that is my poop talk. I hope it was helpful. I know it was a lot of information kind of given at once in this presentation form. So please reach out to me, ask me any question, big or small. You can contact me through our website. If you go to the Steinbach Family Resource Center website, you go to services dietitian, they have this great little message form that goes straight to my email. You can call, you can email, and it doesn't have to be a formal nutrition consult. I'm happy to help in any way, whether, like I said, it's a quick question or kind of more of in a situation you kind of want to just tell me about, and I can go from there and figure out what would be best for you and your situation. And yeah, just a reminder that I'm here as a free resource to help you guys with anything nutrition related, feeding your kids, picky eating, that positive mealtime environment, stuff I just love to talk about. I do miss seeing you guys. I hope to see you guys soon. I hope you are well. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions regarding the resources that I will send your way. Thank you.